Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Solo Faker, shouting for the R&B Talk Show. You know me as the talk show host, podcaster, and the DJ, of course, the content creator. Set the platform. What's going on? What's going on? Just had to adjust this camera real quick and stuff, and get this lighting together. Hope everybody's doing good. I'm pretty much doing good, just trying to get everything together and stuff. But I have a guest coming through. Her name is Bonita Jalane. I think that's her last name. Yeah, so Bonita, she's coming on here, so can't wait to interview the queen and say talk about her history in the business and stuff. Hope everybody put us on vibration. There we go.
Hello.
How you doing? Into the stage, Bonita. How you doing, sister?
How you doing? You can hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, good.
I was thinking to myself, I said, man, I hope she have a phone or an iPad. I was like, man, but laptops and iPads don't work together.
Yeah, they don't. I've tried StreamYard a few times for other interviews and I've tried to do it on my laptop and it just does not mesh well. So I'm like, let me just put it on my phone.
Yeah, it's crazy how they make these devices and stuff. But for some reason, it's like they wants to pay and get it, but they never take the time to really have everything work as it
Yeah,
should be.
yeah, that's
So,
his life. Yeah, I work with tech a lot. And so, yeah, I know how that goes. Are we
yeah,
live now?
yes, we are
I'm
definitely
over here
live.
eating my ice. let me
Yeah.
put it away.
Oh, you good? Oh, you are good. No worries and stuff. I want to congratulate you. I see the post. You are a Grammy member now. So before the
Yeah,
Academy,
that's
congratulations.
thank you so much. I'm still I just found out, yesterday, so I'm still on a high from that. Just being in the music industry for so long, I feel like, everything's leading up to it. It's different levels to it. I feel like that is just another level that I've attained that is getting me closer to where I'm supposed to be. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Yeah, really excited about that.
Yeah, because I think it's awesome, where they, with Grammy, they offer people, a situation, hey, you want to be part of this, and you get a chance to have your opinions
Yeah.
of what you think and everything. My,
Yep.
my wish is I hope that when people do get registered, that they have a voice and not
Yeah.
just have an honor just to be having
They
voice.
do. My friends has been in it, and they have even the ones that nominated me to be a part of it. It does give you a voice. It does give you a little bit of exclusivity of things that you get invited to, and you'll start seeing them, like, even already, getting the updates on the emails and stuff, and they want you to be
Yeah.
involved. And I've been involved with, like, Music Cares. I was definitely probably like
Okay.
4 years ago. I was picked as far as they donated towards my project or whatever, Music Care.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
I've always, like, seen the different benefits of having it. So I'm definitely excited about what can happen now that I'm a member.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty cool, because you know with that background and then what you got this going on, I think it's perfect,
Yeah.
So who knows what's going to lead to the end of this
Yeah.
year and 2026 and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. Especially, my album coming out this year, and now I know, like, when the deadline is for certain things, and I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I had to push it back so many different times, and
Oh
just
wow.
recently had to push it back again, but not in a bad way. Just push it back like a week, and now that I'm finally, like, getting, like, I'm down to one song that we have to just tweak up a little bit. I'm like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
this is the deadline to make sure you know is out before this deadline, just in case I need to submit, because I'm in there now. I'm submitting whatever I can submit. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so it just feels good to, like, to start to know those things now.
Absolutely. And
Hmm.
I want to say, I don't know, you all know you're probably not big on this because you've been in this business since 2005. I want to wish you a happy 20th anniversary.
All right, it's
To
crazy.
your
Yeah.
career. When you look back to where you was 20 years ago to where you are now, what kind of comes to mind?
Well, right, then I don't even I consider, like, breaking in, but I really wasn't, like, in the business. I was just a part of like doing background, I mean doing hooks for like rappers and stuff like that. So I didn't know nothing about the business, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
was like thrown in there, but I knew nothing about the business. And I feel like now, these, 20 years later, I didn't really put out my, even though I started in 2005 and was able to have amazing opportunities, don't get me wrong, I didn't
Mhm.
officially put my music out there and start getting recognition on different publications until like 2012,
Right.
2013. And then, putting out my first project in like 2014. And that's when it really, started to make sense. Like, hey, this is what you got to do, Bonita. This is what you're doing. Finding my voice, because
Mhm.
when I first started out, I just knew I could sing and I knew I could write, but I wasn't finding my voice. I was definitely being molded into who I was around, the environments that I'm around. And I feel like those are the pieces that start a part of my journey. They are a part of my journey
Yeah.
to get me to where I am right now. And I came a long way. So I'm gonna say that. I came a long way. Yeah.
Absolutely and stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, Now, correct me on this one though. You grew up in NYC.
Brooklyn, yes.
Shout out to Brooklyn in the house. So, what
Yes.
was your childhood like growing up when it came to music?
Oh, so my family, like my mom, I grew up as an only child. I didn't know who my father was, but he wasn't really involved in my life. He was incarcerated, so I didn't really get a chance to form a relationship until I turned like 18. So, but I
Right.
had like we were like pen pals up until like from 7 to 13. Like we would write each other or whatever. But my mom instilled music. I mean, growing up in the church, my mom listened to all different types of music. She used to have a big vinyl collection as well.
Mhm.
I had family members that were in the industry as far as on the gospel side. I have family members to this day that are really close with the Winans. I had a cousin who he was the founder of Mama I Want to Sing, the music director for that.
Yeah.
So it's been instilled in my family, like amazing different artists that's in my family. So and my grandfather used to be in a gospel singing group. So, so music has always been a part of my life. I've been singing. My mother said like I was talking at 10, so I was singing. I was holding notes, what I'm saying? Talking at 10 months, meaning like so I was singing. So um my mother would clean up and just listen to all types of music. She was a huge my mother used to dance, so she still would dance around and all different stuff. So it was instilled in me from birth. From birth, she used to sing her favorite song to me while I was in her womb. I was told so.
Wow. I can imagine though, because I know like growing up back in those days, it was like the Clark sisters, the Winans, and
Hmm.
everybody you could think of around the household and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
The
days and stuff.
Johnsons, this is my family, so yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
man, legends at that
Yes,
and stuff.
yes.
Because I know back in those days, when you had like here, this got your family singing music and stuff. Was there any artist that kind of like got you like, wow, I'm loving this sound and everything. I think I like this. Not to be like that person, but
Yeah.
kind of give you a boost.
So many, melting pot. But my mom was a huge Mary J. Blige fan at the time.
Uh,
And so I used to love the way, like I just like the way she used to dance and be on the stage. And I just felt
oh
like
yeah.
it was always I felt like she was always like the girl around the way. She was always herself and authentic. And I felt like I really loved that about her. I used to look up to that. I used to look up to I mean everybody that I felt like I saw the Jill Scotts, I saw the Erica Badu's. And then I was an old soul, so like I would be around older people and they will put me on to like the Dinah Washingtons, the Etta James, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I was definitely um around different types of music so I could form, and I feel like that's what made Bonita Jalane today. I feel like all of those are pieces of me that puts
Mhm.
that had put was instilled in me to become the artist that I am today.
Wow. Uh, how did you learn how to write? Did your family teach you that, or that was something that came natural?
That's God. That was God because I used to write like little stories. I used to write stories. I used to write poems, and then I used to write songs. And I would always do songs. Like I was big with songs. Like I still remember like one of my first songs. It had to have like something like it was like I'm coming out, clap clap. It had to have like some kind of like music to it because of course I didn't have any music to it, so I had to come up with something that was a part of the song. I used to write poems And I used to write, when I tell you, my stories used to be lit. In high school, they used to argue about, because they would pass them around. I was fiction, so I always had this huge
Yeah.
imagination. I played Barbie dolls all the way up until I was 16. I'm not embarrassed to say that. I was definitely,
Hey, it's all good. I
uh,
was rocking with Power
yeah.
Rangers too. I was 17, so
Yes, and I felt
it
like that
was.
was a way for me to explore my imagination, and I felt like that was a way for me also to start storytelling. And I'm a huge
Yeah,
storyteller. Even when it comes down to my music, I consider myself a storyteller. I consider myself a lyricist. I consider even the stuff that I write, it don't always have to necessarily be me. Even though the most healing that I've learned and grown, especially with this project, has been my experiences, but I was always big on like people around me, different things that I would see, different things that I would imagine. I would dream very vividly. And I will always, I feel it's a superpower to be able to put that into lyrics. I mean, to this day, sometimes I even shock myself. I'll be like, oh, wow, I did that, So
yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a superpower.
By the time you was 18 years old, what direction you want to go with? Did you wanted to pursue music full time, or you had like other ambitions that you had that in mind?
I always wanted to pursue music. I don't think that I ever like it was always something in entertainment. Like I used to do plays in a church.
Yeah.
So even though I
Oh,
used to do the plays, it was still because I can sing. So I will always do the singing part. Even in high school, like even if it was a role that wasn't for me, I would do like a role. It was crazy. You look at that stuff now, you're like, oh shoot, that was a little bit weird. Or but like they did the adaptation of the Wizard of Oz, and of course at the time I went to like a mixed school and I wasn't
yeah,
Dorothy, right? And but the Dorothy couldn't sing, and so they still had it to be a musical. And I remember singing Home, first learning Home by Diana Ross and Stephanie Mills. I kind of like did like a mesh up to make it a Bonita
yeah,
Jalane version. And I was on the side of the stage and she did like this whole like kind of like montage while I was singing the song for her, but I wasn't on the stage. So
yeah.
yeah, it's always been there. Even when I wasn't on the stage, even when I was behind the scenes, they still was using my voice, my gift, to bring art to life.
So, as time went on, that you got sought by like rappers like J.R. Ryder, uh,
Yeah.
Cameron, Juelz Santana, Hell, Ray,
Yeah.
Forty Cat, the whole really like the whole
Yeah,
Dipset
it was the
sound.
whole this that, but it started off with Duke the God. I'm still to this day like Duke here and there pops up on my social media, check on me, repost something. I
Yeah.
know he's watching because I'm pretty. I spoke to him probably like a year or two ago, and he was just saying
Uh,
how proud of me that he was. But if it wasn't for Duke the God, it was one of my good friends at the time who was working for Rockefeller, and she used to work for them, and Duke was saying how he needed the vocals, and she was like, I got somebody, and she told him, and I was so nervous because I knew I could write and I knew I could kill it, but I wasn't sure. I was like, these are like they're signed to Rockefeller, they're out there, they're big. Hey Ma was out, it was huge, and I was like, yo, I need to get
yeah.
on this project some type of way. I came up with like four hooks. I remember vividly in the living room with my family, with my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, and I'm like singing the hooks for them, and I'm like, if they don't like this one, I got this one. If they don't got, I had like back to back. So, because I was like, I'm not gonna miss this opportunity. But it was mine already. But just being over prepared. Like thinking back about it now, like I'm getting back that energy that I had then. And he listened to the first hook. And the first hook was like, that's it. And we went and recorded it, and they wanted to like go back and tweak some stuff to re-record the hook, and Cameron was like, no, I want it just like that. I want it raw, just like that. I love it. And he was like, it's something in her voice. And he saw it then too. So, and that's then Juelz, after that song, it came out with J.R. Ryder. He was at the time, he had his own studio. So even though they was like together, they still had their
Yeah.
own little pieces, intricate, separate. And Juelz had his own studio. And to this day, like honestly, for about almost 3 to 5 years, like it was a beautiful time. Right while I was still in college, I was sneaking off, coming back, going back and forth. I was in high school going to the studio, and I never had to pay for studio time. He always held me down, as long as I wasn't there when he was there. And I was writing, me and his cousin used to write, and would write for other, try to get other stuff as well. I'll never forget that time, because even though I really didn't know the business, I just wanted to sing. They
Yeah.
definitely did they embraced me, and it was an embrace where it wasn't a, it was like a little sister type of embrace, and I love that. To this day, I'll never forget that.
Now you performed on stage, being like the open act for Chris Brown, TreySongz, Monica, Lyfe Jennings, and Fantasia.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna start off with Chris Brown.
Okay.
Here it is, one of the biggest artists, 20 years
Yes,
straight.
yes.
So,
But I was baby. It was baby Chris Brown.
this is Chris Brown.
It
Oh,
was.
okay.
Oh, see her. It was run it, run it, run it. We were
Yeah.
babies. That
Oh,
was me. But I mean, that was the start of his career when he was still. It went from. I remember him opening up. I used to intern at Vibe magazine. I remember him opening up the show at Vibe magazine. It was one of his biggest shows, and I was like his handler at the end, and he was like, "How did I do?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, you did so good!" And we all hype. And then the next month, not even the next month, now he's Chris Brown, and everybody's attacking and going crazy. And I was opening up for him like the next month, and I'm just like, he was just asking us how he did, and then now I'm opening for him, and he was giving me advice like, "Keep going. I'm proud of you." And I was just like, so yeah, I feel like that story is gonna be, and I haven't seen him in years, but I remember like seeing him like throughout, different industry events,
yeah.
and he always showed love. His bodyguard used to love me, and it was always love. And I just feel like when the time comes for us to meet again, is gonna be those stories, and I'm gonna be able to like give him a big hug and remember that time, and it's gonna be the perfect timing of when I first opened up for him.
Okay. The second one, Trey Songs.
TreySongz, I did a few dates with him, and my old manager, he used to do promotions. So TreySongz and Monica, so they were on tour at one point. It was a
Okay.
college tour, and I opened up for them, and that was like I was so nervous. It was one of the biggest stages because the thing with Chris Crown, it was a smaller stage. It was sponsored by Doritos. It was in Philadelphia, so it was a lot of people, but it wasn't a huge stage. The one with TreySongz, like to this day, I have fans that follow me from when I opened up for TreySongz and Monica. That was when I tell you all of this, the whole school of North Carolina was in the building. And I did some songs, and I would just laugh about the outfit that I had on because I don't know what I had on. But TreySongz, my friends play for him and his band. After, like, before the show, he showed love. We did videos, took pictures, and I've seen him periodically through, in
Wow.
the industry, and it's always been love and support, definitely.
Man, back to back
Yeah.
VA, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, big shout out to the
Yeah.
PRV's venture. She said VA's on, two up, two down.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from New York, so that's a hop, skip, and a jump. I got family in VA. I got family that's coming down from the DV to come to my show on the 21st. So yeah, VA is there's always gonna be love there.
Absolutely and stuff.
Hmm.
So the next one was Fantasia. So how did that
Yeah.
situation came about?
Oh, that's another thing, another blessing through my mentors at Vibe magazine. When I tell you, if Vibe had a record label, I would have probably been the first artist. When I tell you,
Oh
they
yeah.
no, seriously, to this day, like I still have support. They still support me. Like they like posted my first ever article was in Vibe magazine. My
Oh wow.
first huge opportunity was from Vibe magazine. So I was definitely in an elite club of being, and I was their baby. You know what I'm saying? And it was absolutely amazing. I put out my first project ever when I've decided to do the music, and they all supported me. So yeah, so that they had an opportunity, and it was, where was that at? It was in the DMV as well when I opened up for Fantasia and Little Mo. I opened up for
Oh, okay.
Fantasia and Little Mo. And so it was the craziest story. I know this is like long, but I just
Oh
love
no, you
these
good.
stories. But it was the craziest story because I opened up for her, and she missed my performance. Like she came out like after, she missed my whole performance.
Wow.
And I remember Mona Scott, it was, she was back there, and I knew Mona Scott through somebody else. And she introduced me to Fantasia, and Fantasia was so loving and gave me a huge hug. And I was like, "You missed my performance." And she was like, "Well, baby, after the show," she said, "Baby, after the show, you're gonna come back and you're gonna perform for me in my trailer." And I was like, "Okay." Like I was like so excited. And it never happened because after she performed, Fantasia's like that loving, even when she first started, like they love her. And so she had told them to move up, and it was an outside festival kind of
Mhm.
event, and they had pushed the barricade. So they rushed her out of there. She didn't even go back to the trailer. So she left, and I was like so distraught. I was like, oh my God, I didn't get a chance to perform with her. But let me tell you how God don't play about me. Months later, had to be less than months later, my mentor was like, get dressed, we gonna get pretty. She said, we go into this thing. It used to be this huge thing on 42nd Street. It's a place called Spotlight, and they used to do this R&B spotlight, right?
Yeah.
And Fantasia was performing. And so she was like, we gonna go see Fantasia, because she knew how much of a fan I was of Fantasia. And we went to go see her. And when I tell you, you can still see the YouTube video. Fantasia was performing on the stage, comes to the audience, comes through the crowd. She's doing this thing, she's performing, and she passing the mic, and she's like, wait, this baby over here can sing. Not knowing I'm the same one that opened up for her a month prior.
Right.
And she gave me the microphone, and you give me the microphone. And she wound up snatching the mic back. She's like, she snatched it back, like, like, and it was a beautiful night. It was so many different industry people there, so much love. The crowd went crazy. And then weeks later, I opened up Spotlight, and guess who was in the audience seeing me perform?
Fantasia.
Fantasia.
Oh wow! See how that? See how life goes in its own way.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh man, you
Yep.
know I tell you that's crazy how life works. Like you know the
Yep.
days we think that they is supposed to have, eventually it evolves to something
Yeah.
greater and stuff.
Yeah, something bigger. Guys, like it's a lot of things that we asking for and we want it. And sometimes, sometimes we think rejection is a no. I was distraught when I couldn't sing for her. And he gave the opportunity. Not only did I sing for her, she gave me the microphone. Not only
Yeah,
that, I got to open up for her again. Not only that, she got to sit in the audience when I was open up for Little Mo again in the audience, and she got to see me. And after that, took pictures. After that, had like a formed a relationship with, just being able to talk to her here and there. Like God gives you, and I feel like that's gonna come full circle again one day too, so yeah.
absolutely. Okay, the next one is Lyfe Jennings.
Lyfe Jennings. Yes. I've known Life. I've opened up for Life multiple times, plenty of times. I've opened up for him like twice at City Winery here in Atlanta. Um I've known him. My friend, God rest his soul, I had a really good friend of mine who used to sing backup for him. And I have another
Right.
friend that sings backup for him. And anytime there was an opportunity to open, Life knew I was an artist. I will always play him records. I've been to the studio with Life. I've, different things. And he always was an advocate. Like, you gotta get Bonita open. Bonita just dropped the single. Bonita doing this. Bonita just get in, and like, I'm like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. So it's always love. To this day, like even when I opened up, when I first had my headlining show at City Winery, I sent it to Life, and he was like, he's proud of me. He got to make a show. You better make a show, son. I'll be there July 21st. You behind better be in the building. But I feel like, everything happens for a reason and everything is timing. When I used to, like a lot of people would say, oh, you know so many different people in the industry. Won't you ask for help? Won't you do this? And it's not for them to help me because that's not part of my journey. You know what I'm saying? It's for whoever's supposed to help me is going to help me get to the next level. But it's going to be, I work hard to get there
Yeah,
on my own merit. I don't want anybody to say, like, oh, she only got here because this person helped her. Or she got here because no. The only person that's going to be able to take credit for anything in my career is going to be the Most High.
well, yeah. These vintage as was it T Rex?
Yes. Rest in peace. Yeah.
Oh wow. So what was your like as far as business relationship was like with T Rex?
T-Rex was just one of my best friends. No business relationship. Just one of my best friends. He was like, we're the type of people who we all came up in a business. Like we all came up around the same time and we grew up in a church together. Like we sung on a gospel choir together, Danny Easton and Abundant Life. As teenage, like, he was in the tenor section. I was, one of the babies in the teenage the soprano section. So
Yeah.
that's where our relationship started. So we were the gospel that went to R&B, so people was looking at us crazy, but we had each other in the industry. So
Wow.
our relationship stayed strong. We just had opportunities that we always looked out for each other. So that's what that was. Yeah.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Now in 2009, you was part of the BET's House Sweet the
Yes.
Sound tour
Hmm.
in 2009. So how did you get selected beyond that tour?
Oh man, that was first. It was selected as a brand ambassador that's out there just performing. So I would have the microphone to get people excited about coming to the tour, and so have them singing like karaoke kind of style, kind of
Okay.
situation. And so that's when I first moved to Atlanta, and it was so much stuff that was going on in Atlanta. I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay here. I was missing New York, and so when that opportunity came about, it was like it was absolutely amazing. I was on tour for like 2 months. We literally like was in a van from, we drove from LA to DC. Like we were like cross
Wow.
country kind of situation. And we were getting people excited to come to the house with the sound. And I was the one that was on the microphone and singing and getting people to perform. And, got to do that in front of the Donnie McClurkin, got to do that in front of Marvin Sapp, who is like one of my favorite. Got to do that in front of all these greats. And so it was just a testament to know that to keep going. And I was able to be a part of that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Hmm.
2011, you dropped a single called "Out of This World" featuring hip hop veteran Mickey Factz. Big shout out to
Yes.
Mickey Factz.
Mickey Facts. Yeah, I just booked him the other day. He got a birthday coming up too. I
Yeah.
just mine just passed.
Yeah. So what? So with that single right there, because I remember that's crazy too, though, because I remember because I'm a big fan of battle rap, and I remember
Okay.
he mentioned your name and stuff.
Yeah.
And back then, I wasn't big on YouTube back then as I
Yeah.
am now. And I remember hearing, I said, "This song is hot, man,"
Yeah.
and stuff. So how did that record came about?
We have a good synergy. Like we just like y'all can't wait till y'all hear the new song that we got. So and the new song that we working on, like we had a great synergy from my first project, and then I've been on a couple of his projects, and now we literally just spoke about redoing the song, and I mean redoing like music and working together. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Like literally within months we are like we're probably something will probably be coming out soon, so I'm excited. Another Mickey Factz and Bonita Jalane joint. No, I met him at TreySongz Studios here in Atlanta, like when I first moved here. Shout out to Molly Wilson. She they used to have these big conferences. I opened up for Little Mama there,
Oh
and
wow.
like they said, it was a huge studio here in Atlanta. It still is. But the ownership and stuff changed or whatever.
Yeah.
But I met him there. We bumped into each other, and of course we're there for like writing is different. You connecting and you're networking with all these different music executives, and we just started talking about music. And then I went to the studio with him the next day, and I was the type of person, he just invited me to the session. I wasn't part of it to perform, and as he's doing the song, I'm started humming and singing, and I'm soulful, and so he's like, oh, do that at the end. He was like, I want you to go to the end and just go in the booth and sing. And I just started singing, and I brought the church out in that song. And he's like, and then when it was time for me to do my first single, I asked. I was like, I was nervous. He was just on double XL cover. He was just doing so much. And I was just like, listen, the worst he could say is no. And so I asked, I let him
Yeah.
hear the song. He loved it. And because when we first wrote the song, it wasn't even supposed to be my song. We
Oh wow.
were pitching it for Lupe Fiasco. We were pitching it to him, and I just did the hook.
Oh
And
wow.
so many people were like, that hook is crazy. Go ahead and finish writing the song.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I got my pen, and my pen is serious. And I started writing to it and asked Mickey to be on it, and the rest is history.
Yeah, because I remember, I mean, like that song was like get so much love,
Yeah.
just hearing it. And I remember I heard on the radio and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. How big it was at that time.
Yeah, it was doing really good. That was my first article and vibe without like just them doing it on their own. My first time, like it was like one of those like, oh my God, like it was on Ebony. They did a write up on me. It was
Wow.
on like I don't know if it was, I think it was World Star. They played the video when I did the video.
Okay.
So it was, yeah, it did get a lot of love. That was my first time with my first song that I ever put out on my own, and seeing like, okay, there's a lane for me. There's a place, there's a place for my lane. And that's when I really started getting my sound as far
Yeah.
as my recording artist sound.
Yeah. I agree with you. What you said a few minutes ago that Vibe Magazine definitely needs to have their own label,
Yeah.
independent something though, because they
Yep.
give more love
Yep.
than some of these major platforms
Yep.
do. Even some of
Yep.
these old magazines, even some of these supposed to be black owned magazines, but that's a
Mm-hmm.
whole different
That's a
conversation.
whole nother conversation.
Now, you definitely scored another big one, hit single called "Stare." You got a couple accolades winning the best
Yes.
music video in 2015 for
Yeah.
Revolution. Okay, yeah, film
Yeah.
festival. Come on
It was
now.
a film festival. That was my first time being at a film festival. And shout out to my friend Lynette. I had the song and she's an amazing director. And she was like getting her, they had just got the red camera. She had a really good team. And she's like, and I remember that to this day. She called me, she said, Bonita, I would love to do one of your songs. And I was like, well, let me send you Stare. And I sent her Stare. And she's like, oh my God, please let's do a video for it. And I was here and I'm being honest, I was struggling artist. I was, really out here trying to make my way in Atlanta. And I remember my PT Cruiser. I was like, listen, I'm gonna drive to New York. I'm gonna have, we're gonna get the clothes and stuff. We had the models that was in the video. I didn't have to do nothing but just show up. Like it was absolutely amazing. And she was submitted to indie film festivals and different stuff. So the Rendezvous Film Festival loved it and we got an award for that, for that video. And I like the song, I felt like I was just a part of an amazing crew that put that together, and that's what really got me excited about bringing visuals to life and bringing that art to life with your music.
Wow. I tell you
Mhm.
though, just reading up your bio, it's like it just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Yes, it
Every
levels,
step, it really
levels,
levels to
everything.
it.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
whenever
yeah,
you in that lane,
yeah,
you ever think to yourself like, okay,
yeah,
I started from here. I gotta really, I get a
yeah,
chance to brand myself even further to expand. Who I am
yeah.
as an artist. Do those thoughts kind of get in your head sometimes?
Yeah, it's a lot of times like when you think it's crazy because you're not the only one who has like read through my bio. I had a friend of mine who had a podcast, and when he was reading through my bio and going over everything with me, like just me hearing it, like having that like it read back to me. Even shout out to rest in peace Robin Ayers when she just recent like when she had me on when she played my song viral, she like read part of my bio as well, and just hearing other people like say the things that you've done even on those days where I feel like dag I'm still not where I want to be, I'm still not exactly, I just think about all the stuff that I've been blessed to do to get to this place, and I'm very well rounded and I'm grateful for every opportunity and the favor that was given to me on this journey, and I feel like it's just getting started again. Yeah,
For you to also be part of a major tour, you opened up for David Escobar for the Boundless
yeah,
Tour. So what was
Emmy
that?
award winning, yeah.
Yes, what was that like? Be on tour with him.
Man, I did so I was on spot dates. So I did if he had like I think at that time it was 15 or 20 dates. I think I did like about 6 or 7 and it was amazing. Like but I was coming back I was coming back home to working, like working part-time. And I'm on these tours and and I'm his only opening act, and afterwards there's a line of people who want me to sign my music and sign and autograph stuff and take pictures with
Wow.
me. It was it was a culture shock at first. I was like, what? And then having to go back and work a 9 to 5, I was just like, okay, but it definitely it showed me like when you have a fan base, when they rock with you, they rock with you. It helped me step up my merch game because I didn't know, like it was just me. And sometimes on certain spot days, I had like my uncle as a role manager, and I had a friend of mine that would come in certain dates with me, and it was just like us two, and like just he gave me an opportunity to know what to put on a rider, to even have a rider. So even all the things that I was doing in the industry, it was certain things that I didn't know, and I learned that from watching him. And so I feel like those are the tools that's actually turned like helped me towards where I'm going right now, so yeah, it was amazing time. It was definitely family. um and, like to this day, I still love them. I feel like once you have a fan, that's why I'm big on. I learned also from Damien, and this is one of the things that he probably didn't even know that I learned from him. He always said, Benita, you can sing, you have great stage presence. He said, but people want to get to know you. It's not like how it was back in the days where they just knew your music.
Yeah.
People want to get to know your personality and get to know you. Like that's why they wait to take pictures with you. That's why they wait to want you to sign, or but they want to get to know you. And he was like, when you start sharing that part of you, you'll go further, and you'll have people that's gonna rock with you for a long time. And I'm starting to see that now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, your single Retro, got amazing went like nationwide,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And for you to pay homage to so many greats, how
Yeah.
did that song Retro come about?
Shout out to TJ, the songwriter. So I had a song called Hip Hop Gone, which is it was paying homage. And in that song, I was talking about like even the breakup between Rockefeller. Because remember, I was there, and I seen it.
Yeah,
And it was called Hip Hop Gone. And TJ heard that song and he was like, "Oh, I got this song called Retro. I think that you will be grateful." And I remember him singing the song for me after one of my shows, and he was singing the hook and he was singing like the idea, and I was just like, and CJ's not a singer, he's a songwriter, so he's like trying to sing, and I'm like, like, I hear it, but I don't hear it. And so I remember going to the studio and like just going to the studio and being able to sit with him, and as he's listening, like doing the lyrics and actually bringing it to life. Then we started working on the verse and the second verse and the bridge, and I was like, this is it. This is one of the ones. And that was my first song that ever played like huge on the radio out here in Atlanta, like multiple
wow,
times. It was in rotation for a minute without any payola, just off the strength of it was an amazing song. Shout out to Big Ray for that. And yeah, that started off with TJ songwriter. I have to give him his credit. Like even though I was able to bring it to life, it was his, vision. But he was inspired by a previous song of mine. Even had that same feel. He just took it to another level.
wow. Because this song
Hmm.
right here called "Attention" of Mr. Matthew Knows. For those who know that is, that's
Yeah.
Beyonce Solange Knowles' father
Yes.
and stuff. So yeah. So when you get the word about, that called his
Peter
ear.
Thomas. He was at my show. I had a show. Peter Thomas. That's like a godfather to me. Like honestly, he like when I first moved here, he was my old manager. They were really really close, and he had a big conference called How Can I Be Down in North Carolina in Charlotte, and I was one of the feature artists, and I'll never forget this. Like, rest in peace to DJ Clark Kent. Like the fact that DJ Clark Kent was the one that played my record. DJ Clark Kent was the one that we connected, talking about us both being from Brooklyn. He gave me like the best advice, and he was like, "You kill it. This is yours. This is your stage. You own it. I'm just here to support you, whatever you need." And he was like, dropping the bars and just helping, like just it just brought the show to life. And Matthew Knowles was there. He was in the audience, and afterwards, he literally was like, "Your energy." He was like, "Your energy was absolutely amazing on the stage." He was like, "I would love to see keep going. I would love to see more from you." And I didn't take that as like, "Oh, you need to help me. You need to sign me right now." At the time, I had a friend of mine who was signed to him, Tiffany Evans, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I just took it as like the fact that he stayed my whole performance. Like after I performed, he left. He stayed my whole performance,
Oh
and he
wow.
took the time out to tell me exactly how he felt about it. That right there was enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I want to apologize to you though. I think we did. Did we talk about your newest single, "Love Myself"?
I love myself. That is my newest single.
Yeah.
Yes, no,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the newest
Okay.
one. I'm
Yeah.
so
So
excited about that one. Yep.
yeah. So you got like two versions of it. You got like the standard version with, of
Mm-hmm.
course, you got like the remixes, the
Yep.
instrumentals and stuff like that. So
Yep.
this new single, what kickstarted for you to be like the first single?
Well, it wasn't. So High was my first single, and So High went really good. I actually charted
Oh,
on the
okay.
adult R&B charts from So High. So High was like one of the so off of this album, Kept Kissing Frogs, I had dropped a single called Black Rose, and I dropped another single called Viral. Like it was a crazy situation. And when I dropped So High, I was just in a place of like I had just lost T-Rex, had just passed away
Yeah.
when we went to the studio, recorded that. And So High was like, it was just so, the energy was so, it was every the energy was so high. It was to this day I say I wasn't writing that song. I felt like my angels were sitting there and they was giving me all the lyrics and it just was flowing. And I Love Myself was the last single out off of this project, that because
Yeah.
it's this project is like a 5 year in the making. Like yeah, I've
Oh
been,
wow.
back and forth, back and forth. Am I gonna put it out, putting out singles? Am I gonna do this, da da da? And so many different disappointments, scammers, old men that's stealing money, friends that I thought were, my partners with this music, doing things like a long story. And so I love myself. I was just in a place where I'm still so high, but I was in a place where like not doubting myself and just knowing like my journey is my journey. Like all those accolades and things that you read off,
Mhm.
I've been good enough. I've been great. And if no one is going to support me, I'm going to support myself. And that's where I love myself came about. It came from all of those feelings. It came from not giving up. It came from this is my time. And if it's not going to be given to me, I'm going to take it. I'm going to do it no matter what, and because I believe in myself. And so that's where I Love Myself came about. And I wanted to close out that to be my last single, because I got on this project, I'm dropping 15 songs, and I narrowed it down and had to re-record certain songs. I had like 20 songs, I
Wow.
had 25 songs, had to re-record, take some out, move some stuff around, no longer with a certain producer, having to get stuff re-recorded. It's been
Yeah.
a uphill roller coaster with this project. And I Love Myself was such a positive affirmation to be the last single off this project that I was really proud of. Manifested working with Derek Blanks, and that whole love for bringing the visual to life. This is one of the best videos that I've ever had the opportunity to call my own. Um, and also wanting to share that love with other people. Like when I performed that song before I recorded it, that's why I did the extended version, because that was the raw live of me when I was headlining at City Winery. It was the raw part of it, and I had people coming to me crying like that experience, and said that they don't know if they ever really loved themselves, and just knowing that I was in that place when I wrote it, but it was in a place of healing. It was in a place of love. I wanted to share that. I wanted that to be my story. And the project is leading up to that. It's so many different roller coasters. It's such a testimony. It's such a story. It's storytelling. And I Love Myself as a perfect end to, like, not end, but the perfect last single for this project. And there's still some other ones on there that might be somebody else's favorite, but this was like one of my favorites from this project.
Yeah, because I always feel like timing is perfect, when it comes to
Yeah.
making an album. Because even though it's one thing to enjoy the success when everything is building up, and when the album comes out, make you feel like you finally arrived. And I gotta agree with you, because being in the business for almost 20, well, almost 30 years, and
Yeah.
with these producers, it's day and night,
Yep.
And
Yep.
I hate when some they'll
Yeah.
give you a beat and turn around and give you the same beat to somebody else. You're like,
Hmm.
wait a minute now, like
Hmm.
something's going on. Like
And
you
then you
had
start
something.
recording to it, you fall in love with it, and then you can't even have it. And me as
Yeah,
a writer, like, you giving me the beat, but you're not writing, I'm writing to it. I'm putting the whole thing together. And listen, I'm a writer, I'm a lyricist, so I love bringing music together with certain production, but it's my lyrics, it's my melody. Somebody
absolutely.
else can bring it to life too. So I'm not gonna ever let that stop anything that I have going on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hmm.
And these producers don't realize, you
Yeah.
actually hurting yourself, by
Yeah.
doing that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and everything. Um, so like before, and what you said 15 songs, I was like, man, that's so dope because bring it the old school way because I
Yeah.
hate 10 songs because to
Yeah.
me, 10 songs feel like an EP, and the sad
Uh-huh.
part about it, some artists are following that format.
Yeah, that's an LP. Like I feel like that's an EP LP, and I feel like I've dropped EPs before. This one is like, this is an album, and it's 13, and then two bonus tracks, which basically is 15. And out of the 15, some of them are interludes, but even though they're interlude, it's like two interludes, but they're song interludes. So yeah, I listened to it, and I was still back and forth, like, oh, should I change this, like, and should I do this? And of course, I listened to my project back to back in its entirety, like not in order, but just every song that I finally decided. And I did it with my mom, so it was very intimate. And I was just like, wanted to tear up because I was like, this is beautiful, and I'm really proud of it. And it's just opened the door for more stuff because I have more music in me. I have more creativity in me. So I
Yeah.
was like, I'm not gonna push this back anymore. Let me go ahead and get this out so I can start working on the next thing. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
You being a writer, how you find inspiration to continue to make songs? As much music done over like last 20 years.
Oh man, life. That's been my therapy. It's been less than a therapy bill, even though we do both. But honestly, it's been my healing, and to be able to, like I said, to have that gift, has been the healing, to be able to, even so, I have songs that never see the light of day, but I just had to get that energy and put that somewhere, put that music out. And so it's everything that I've experienced, everything that people that are close to me experience, even people that I've don't know, just I've had, when the situation, I had a situation where I went viral. When I wrote that song Viral, I had over maybe thousands of women who reached out to me and told me their stories, full on paragraphs, full on books of their story. And that's all inspiration. Some they felt like I was wondering, like, why are these people reaching out to me? Like, why are you telling me this? Like, I don't, and it was like because they wanted just to be heard, even if it was just through me.
Yeah,
And I feel like I want to be a voice for those people that feel like they're unheard, for those people who feel like they're not loved, people who feel like they don't have nobody else to talk to just get that energy out. So yeah, I have so much more in me.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we wrap it up,
Yeah.
okay, like got the new album, so you get ready to finish up.
Yeah.
And is there any music videos you have? I mean, like ideas you had for you mind for like the whole project?
For my old projects.
No, I mean, not for like for your current one.
Oh, for my current one? Oh man, so many. So I just dropped I Love Myself. I probably want to do another music video for the title track, which is KKF, which is my album's called Kept Kissing Frogs. And
Yeah,
I have a title track called KKF. And that's basically the story of the whole album, the ups and downs of,
yeah,
where it came from. And I feel like that would be a dope video.
yeah.
Then I have another song that this the last song that's closing out the project. That's the reason why I had to push it back. That's called My Makeup. And I feel like that song, we can do amazing things with the visual. I might have to call Derek again for that one. But it's called My Makeup, and it's just the story about it. Like, it's women who wear makeup and different stuff like that. But it's not really about the makeup. It's about the story behind it. Like in what like yeah. So I probably got a few more videos in me.
Yeah, because when I was hearing some of your music on Spotify, I said, man, why does this song sound like it should be on one of these TV drama
Yes.
shows?
From
I was,
from your mouth to God's ears. It need to be
yeah.
on TV shows. It need to be, yes, it does.
I was thinking about The Shine. I know the show Insecure is canceled, but I was thinking
Hmm.
about BMF. I was thinking about
Yeah.
certain little stuff that was fit for
Yeah.
that and
Yes.
everything.
It's coming. I'm just because that's confirmation. I'm taking it all in. It's gonna be on TV shows. Tyler Perry, holla at me. Any one of them. Listen, call me. I got you.
So, but with that being said, thank you for taking the time, coming on here and stuff. And
Yes. Thank you
this
for
has
having
been
me.
amazing. Thank you all for taking the time, watching this platform. Keith R&B, V's Vintage, Tim Gallus Production, everybody and stuff. And big
Yeah.
shout out to your PR. Was it Keisha? Am I
Yes,
correct?
Keisha. Yes, Keisha
Yeah,
Scott. Shout out to Keisha
yeah,
Scott. That's my babe.
yeah.
She
Big
was.
shout out to Keith Scott.
I
Yeah,
met her during the Dipset days, and then we started working together when I first dropped my. She was the first thing that she worked on was Out of This World featuring Mickey Factz, and we've been together ever since. So off and on, and like, and she's been together with me for all these years, and so now she's on this project, and it's been absolutely amazing. And I feel like we're growing together, and I feel like it's just the beginning.
yeah. I want to mention this too. For those who never got the opportunities to see you perform live, if you could give them like the image, I mean, the imaginary of Bonita experience when it comes to like performing live on stage, what can it
Ah
expect?
man. So if you're in Atlanta, go ahead and get your tickets. We're still selling tickets. They're starting to move. At first I was worried because I'm like, okay, they're not really moving fast. But I started to leave that to the most high. Like this is just the
Yeah,
beginning. Like I feel like it's going to happen. It's going to be one day I'm gonna put a show out and it's going to be sold out within minutes. I feel like that's the levels that I'm going to. But City Winery, I'm going to be performing there in Atlanta, July 21st. Even if you're not here, you can still support, get a ticket. It goes a long way. Give the ticket away to somebody in Atlanta. You're going to have an amazing experience. It is storytelling. This is the first, like, I've always had these like one woman kind of show where I tell stories and interact while I'm doing the performances. But this is the first time when I'm really, really, really bringing it to life. So this show is gonna be very, very beautiful. But yeah, it's an experience when you come there. I feel like I'm sitting on the stage. I'm in my living room, like how I'm doing these interviews, but I'm
yeah.
actually telling the stories through song. And yeah, it's gonna be really dope. It's gonna be, and you be ready to interact, be ready to have a good time, be ready to smile, be ready to dance, be ready to cry. It's gonna be a full experience.
Oh man, that's awesome
Yeah.
stuff, man. So with that being said, you have a blessed night. And make
Yes.
sure you guys follow this queen. Matter of fact, you tell the
Yes.
people where to follow you on social media and how to get your music.
Yeah, so you can follow me at Bonita Sings on all social media. Is my first name Bonita and then Sings. And my website is my name, Bonita Jalane. So if you see how it's spelled, bonitajalane.com. I try to update it as much as possible, but it's a lot, with me, but
Yeah,
I'm
that sounds good.
updating it as much as possible. I can't wait to I have a great support system as far as my team, and I know it's getting better. But yeah, if you go to my website, you can actually sign up for my newsletter. If you follow me on Instagram, put your notifications on. It's always something going on. Um, I just won Best Female R&B Artist this year for the Ace
Oh,
Honors.
congratulations.
Yeah, that's amazing. And some other stuff that's coming up I just found out about. And then, I'm a voting member now. So it's a lot going on. And I feel like I want you guys to be there for this journey. If you reach out to me, I'm really big on responding and, and making sure that I stay with you because I want you to stay with me throughout this
Absolutely.
journey because it's not easy. So, yeah, that's
You
it.
know, I know you hear the word, you're in your season. I call it you're in your timeless season. To where you was back in
Yes.
2005 to where you are now. It's
Yes.
always a growth. And people don't realize
Yes.
there's no age limit of, oh, I'm just now in that moment. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's timeless. It goes on. You
Yes,
know what I'm saying?
yes, yeah. And if you make timeless music, I could put out something that I put out years ago. It could be new to somebody, even somebody who supported me then. But it could be the new to somebody, and they don't like if it's timeless music. You don't know when I put it out. You don't know when I recorded it. I just make really
Yeah.
good music, and so that's was my always my biggest thing from all the different people that I've worked with or seen in this industry. I've learned like to just make good music. Don't go in there trying to make music to sound like this. Make good music that makes you feel good, and that's what I've been doing.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love your energy. I tell
Me
you,
too.
I done, I done had women on here, that had great solid energy and stuff. But I tell you, it's like your energy is so dope, man.
Thank
That's
you.
my opinion on.
Thank you.
But
I
with that being,
appreciate you.
no problem. Shoot, with that being said, you have a
Yes.
blessed night, and we are
Yes.
out of here.
Yes. See you later. Bye. How do I close? Oh.
That's all good.